This week has been a week of miracles. From witnessing the fall of Ruto's 12 disciples in the House of Senate to Raila's purported betrayers from Parliament going back home to their Baba as the clock ticks on the process of amending the 2010 Constitution through a referendum. The ball is in the court's court. Let me take you briefly through a history class back on August 4, 2010, when a constitutional referendum was held. The result was a victory for the Yes campaign, with 68.6% of the voters approving the Constitution, while the No campaign, led by the then Higher Education Minister William Ruto, lost with 30% of Kenyans voting No. Will history repeat itself? My name is Frederick Muitiriri, and our sign language interpreters tonight are Tracy Dorcas and Teresia Washira. We'll, however, start the show with this bite by nominated Senator Isaac Mwaura at a rally a few months ago.
Familia ya Kenyatta walitawala miaka 15 na ingine inaenda kuisha 10. Hiyo ni miaka 50. Tunasema imetosheka hiyo, tusonge tujipange kama vijana. Kwa hivyo tutajipanga vile tulivyo, watu wa tuktuk, watu wa bodaboda na watu wa wheelbarrow. Nikisema wheelbarrow unasema kazi ni kazi. Wheelbarrow!
That was the nominated Senator Isaac Mwaura, who was speaking, I think, on December 21st. Now, earlier on, the proceedings are going on. The court has said the BBI steering committee is an unconstitutional entity. And we're asking you, do you think the BBI is a legal document? Do you think the BBI is a legal document? Speak to us or share your feedback through our SMS line. That is on 111 444 111 111 or on our social media handles. That is at Switch TV Kenya, at Fred Muitiriri. Remember to use the hashtag tipping point so we could keep this conversation as interactive as possible. Our guest will be definitely responding to your comments and answer your questions, as they are Taita Taveta Senator Jones Mwaruma and politician and former Deputy Governor from Isiolo. That is none other than Gule Simba. And Simba is in the house. Simba, you've heard what I have just played right now. What do you make of those sentiments that were made by, can we call him former Senator Isaac Mwaura? What do you make of those sentiments?
You know, Isaac Mwaura, as you know, has been the branch of the Jubilee Party that was considered to be allied to the Deputy President. And ideally, he's trying to paraphrase the dichotomy between the dynasty and the hustlers. That's basically what he's trying to say. That the fact that the Kenyatta family were in power all these years, combined with the Moise family. What he's simply saying is that we shall not accept a continuation of that dynasty. That is the message he's trying to pass across.
Do you think that's why tunasema kwa Kiswahili shoka ilimwangukia?
Shoka ilimwangukia. Therefore, obviously, that was expected. It was unexpected move, I think. It was going to come sooner than later. But I think it has also been a trend in the last few months of the Jubilee Party, the whipping its members that they feel are either opposed to the government or are behaving in a manner to suggest that they have joined the rebellion. So this is not strange. It has been happening. You have seen what has happened to the parliamentary leadership, starting with Aden Duale, the leader of majority.
Shoka.
Yes, he had to move, as loyal as he was, but he had to go. You have seen also, even at the Senate, the leadership was also whipped, Murkomen, and all the other leadership within the Senate. So Mwaura's removal is not really a surprise. Actually, I think it has come a bit late. I thought that was going to come much earlier. So, but you know, I don't
hold that thought, because we have Senator from Taita Taveta.
Yes.
Mr. Mwaruma, do you think, what do you think of the sentiments that the nominated Senator Isaac Mwaura said in December? Do you think they had any repercussion to what has just happened this week?
Collecting all the revenues, which will obviously have to be agreed upon. And at the end of that process, then hand over the project to the public
that is not Senator Mwaruma, and that must be the voice of the majority speaker in the parliament. I'm being told there's some confusion in that. But let me ask you, are we seeing a situation where parties and party members cannot express themselves? Are we seeing the return to 1980, where members of parliament, if they went against KANU, they were told out, and some of them actually were imprisoned? Is that what we are seeing with Jubilee?
Unfortunately, that is the direction we seem to be taking, which is sad, by the way. I find it sad because I think we have made sufficient gains to look like a model for the rest of Africa. Kenya's stride through the democratic transition, if you like, from the repeal of Section 2A in 1991 by President Moi, and the ushering in of the democratic, multi-party system. We have gotten, a big step towards press freedom. Kenya has been considered one of the most vibrant countries in terms of press freedom and democratic space. But unfortunately, in the last few years, particularly in the last 1 or 2 years, we have been seeing a shrink of that space, and the fact that also people are increasingly feeling squeezed. So you could even see from the time when the MCAs were voting for the BBI, obviously you could say it was not out of free choice. In most cases, you could see intimidation, twisting, a lot of manipulation. It's like, this had to happen, and by any means necessary. So I'm really thinking that the democratic space is being squeezed. But, Kenyans have tested that fruit called freedom and free speech. I don't think it will go very far. It might look like forces within the government might try and reclaim back authority and reestablish the authoritarian form of government.
Hold still, because I'm being told that Mwaruma is back. Senator, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here. Are you able to hear me?
Absolutely. Now I can hear you. Now, Senator, I don't know if you heard from the former nominated, let me just call him former because he was, of course, he was replaced immediately. What do you make of the sentiment that he said on December 21st that we are seeing a return of dynasty and they cannot rule us again? They've ruled us for 50 years. They cannot rule us again. What do you make of those sentiments?
Yeah, I think those were really unfortunate statements, especially when they were directed to the president and the party leader of the party that nominated him to parliament. That would not be my approach to politics because then he started discussing personalities. And I think if we are to have hygiene in politics, then the best thing to do is to adhere to the rules of the house. Every household, every even churches have their own rules and regulations which need to be adhered to. And we also have leadership installed in every institution. So like a political party has institutions or has installed leadership, which must be necessarily respected. So what I saw there was not really respect to the party leader. And when you start discussing your party leader in that light, and then it does not portray a very good image of the party. It is not
Mwaruma,
really
let me just cut you short, Mwaruma.
But freedom of speech really has also its own limits. If he was discussing ideas and ideals, then that would have been acceptable. But now he was discussing the personality of the president and the background of the president.
But Senator, didn't we see, when I remember when we were growing up, did we see that the likes of James Orengo in the early 90s, and they used to mention the name of the former president, Daniel Arap Moi, and they used to say it in bad light through and through and through. Aren't we seeing a situation where members of a particular party, they cannot be able to express themselves?
You know, what you're talking about, the likes of James Orengo, who really did a lot of work fighting for second liberation, is different because they were attacking issues But what the senators and the Tanga team are trying to progress is class wars, class divisions. That you, because you're from a dynasty, then you are privileged. You, because you are poor, then you are downtrodden. If we start those class wars, then Kenya would not go very far. So I think we should stop fueling class wars and just talk as Kenyans. There are some who are privileged, yes, some are not privileged. But the discussion that we should bring on the table is how to bring the underserved people, the people who are not privileged, we bring them at par by looking at the economics and trying to bring up the economy so that everybody can enjoy living in Kenya, whether you are poor or whether you are rich. Nobody chooses where they can be born. Some find themselves born in privileged backgrounds. Some find themselves born in poor backgrounds. But all of us at the end of the day are Kenyans.
Let me come to you, Simba. It is a president, just last year, I think it was this year, who said that we can no longer be led by two tribes.
Yes.
He's the one who said that.
Yes.
Aren't we seeing now a double standard?
Yes. No, but I also want to respectfully disagree with the senator. Offending politically is a traditional norm in politics. And besides, we are also in a period of transition. The president's term, as we know, is coming to an end next year. Officially, that's what we know, and that's by the constitution. We are going to see a new president coming. So there's a struggle over that space right now. And I don't think really the party called Jubilee really exists now in its original form. What we are seeing is a totally tattered party at the moment. There could be a move by a few within the party leadership trying to usurp some authority, but it is obvious. I'm not a member of the Jubilee party, and but I can see, and anybody can see, that there's a total division. So within that division is what we are seeing now, the conflict. The Honorable Mwaura is representing one divide, which is opposed to the other side. So for him now, I could understand that he will try as much as possible to delegitimize the authority. You know, there are two things here. There's the president as the head of state. He absolutely requires the respect of being the head of state. But then there's the president also, who is the head of the party. There is a free for all. I mean,
anyone can say anything.
Anyone can say anything as far as that's concerned. So, but I also think we have grown away.
We have grown away, like Senator Mwaruma is saying. Do you think he went too far?
I think in Kenya we should learn to allow people to say as they wish. By saying
is that what democracy is?
No, by saying that you have been in power for too long and we cannot allow you to succeed another person whose father was there before. Is that too far, really? I've not, in that statement, I've not seen anything far, and I have not seen also.
Do you
anything,
think it's
I did not see anything.
I did
not see anything personal, really. In the last statement, the one you have showed, I don't know what else he said in that clip. Probably there's something that I have not heard. What I heard being said is we will not allow people to rule us more than 50 years. As you young people, we want to take our rightful place. That statement, in that context, I do not see anything really either insightful or obscene in terms of language. So I think we should be very careful to start stigmatizing people because of statements they make. If and when they do that and somebody feels personally aggrieved, there are laws that govern that. It is no longer a political issue. It is going to be a legal issue between that individual and the person he feels offended about.
Let me bring Senator Mwaruma at this point. And Senator, we saw, in the same breath, we saw Senator James Orengo, we saw Rarieda MP, who were accused of almost similar sentiments, and they went to Baba and things now have cooled. Are we reading different scripts in our political parties?
Thank you so much, Fred. what happened in ODM, there were differences in opinion, but as you have rightly put it, the two went back to Baba and talked to him. The same cannot be said about Senator Maura. We have not seen him show remorse and go back to his party leader and say that what I said, we are politicians, and sometimes when we're in the podium, we are likely to overtalk, and so I seek forgiveness. So we've not seen the same. But as I'm saying, every house, every church has rules and regulations, which really must be respected. And there is installed leadership that really must be respected. You cannot tell me I'm a Jubilee party leader and for that matter, president, and then you are working under me in the same house and you are saying that, you know, your father ruled for 15 years, you have ruled for 10 years. I don't know how that arithmetic came to 50 years of rulership by the Kenyatta family, but even if I were the father of a house and I have a child who is talking like that, then I would not be happy. If I was the bishop of a church and I see one of my communicants talking like that, then I would seek to banish or to expel, excommunicate that communicant. So I think there must be party hygiene. And what you're talking about, Orengo and the Honorable Honorable who? It's Rajada MP. He went back respectively to the party leader, and they said, okay, this has happened, but because our house, our party ODM believes in a democracy, what we did was wrong, and so because we say let us protect what you want to say respectfully, let's come back to the fold and work together.
Maruma, while you're at it, Simba, do you think they feared James Orengo? He said in Parliament, in the Senate, that he doesn't fear anything and no one can intimidate him. Do you think ODM feared that Orengo will not back off?
I have a feeling it was not Orengo who went to seek out for Baba. It could very much be the other way around. Because we saw there was somebody.
Baba went to.
I think
to
so.
Orengo.
I think so. That's what it looked like. That's what it looked like. I don't think, from where the position they reached, both Atiendo Omolo and James Orengo were willing to back down. The language and the passion in which they were talking. So, but then if they had also stayed out, it would have been trouble for both ODM and Jubilee as far as the vote in the House was concerned, because they will have really swayed around a lot of weight, because by their charisma and their strength
and their position in Senate,
it will have played very rough for them. So I think it was a way of trying to, the way I think, I could be wrong. So, but all the same, but I also don't see all this as a very big issue, in my view. These are times of transition. We are going through a transition in politics. 2022 elections are quite close. There will be soon changes of leadership also within the parties, remember, even within the ODM.
But you just told me
even within the ODM, there will be soon changes. People are going to start, struggling for who will succeed Baba. So there's all that infight also within ODM, I think. So even within Jubilee, even though it's in tatters, there are obviously people who are trying their best to gain their foothold also within the party. So this is the moment when you see people scratching each other. It is not any different, by the way. Throughout my recollection of Kenyan politics, around this time of transition, this is exactly what happens. In 2002, you remember what had happened. There was shift of positions. The 1997, 2002, during the 2007 also, 2013, exactly what we are seeing now was happening. Parties dying, new parties cropping up, people defying party positions. So it is not really unique what we are seeing. This is a common occurrence in Kenyan political, landscape from the time of 1992 transition.
Maruma, I know you wanted to say something on this, and let me just shift and throw the same question to you. Do you think ODM somehow feared what James Orengo would do in Parliament?
First of all, Fred, let me disagree respectfully with what Simba has said, that there reaches a point where people would start defying party positions because then we are approaching new elections. I think that is contrary to what we are trying to build, strong parties with hygiene. Otherwise, if you start defying party position, why would you want to be in a party which is giving positions that you don't want to respect? Because party positions are given according to the ideals of the party, according to manifesto of the party. Now, why do you want to remain within the party and disrespect the party positions and disrespect the party leader? That would not happen in any democracy in the world. Look at how seamless Tanzania works. You will not even know that elections are coming until the final end. CCM nominates a presidential candidate, Chama Cha Mapinduzi, and they go and really vote seamlessly, and we don't see people insulting each other.
Maruma, can we say the same of ODM and Jubilee, really?
About a communicant in a church who feels that the bishop is not doing very well, or the ideals of the way a church is being led is not good, just leave. The same way, if you want to build strong parties, if you feel what Jubilee is doing, or the leadership of Jubilee is not maybe working very well, why don't you really leave, other than insulting or maybe going overboard in the way we express ourselves in as far as the leadership is concerned and the party idea is concerned. Talking about Senator Orengo and how maybe he came back to the fold, was he feared? I don't think he was feared. ODM is one party that has really survived storms, and it doesn't matter who approached who. In terms of leadership, if Orengo is a leader, really, he might have approached Baba, or the other way also, Baba being a good leader, could also approach Orengo and tell him, hey, guy, come, let us talk to each other. Let us talk to one another and see how we can resolve whatever small difference is there. Because, as you say, Orengo is one person who holds a lot of sway, both in Parliament, in the Senate, where he's my minority leader, and also in the politics of Kenya. So I don't think that he was
that thought. We
really,
want to take a short break.
Being feared, but it is good if something has happened before it goes overboard. Then you can call each other and sit, and that's how we're able to manage and build a party like ODM, which has really stayed for a long time. I think it's the third largest party which is active and Kenya-wide, apart from Ford Kenya and KANU, which are there but with very few members.
More appreciated, Jones. That is Senator Jones Mwaruma from Taita Taveta. I'm having him in the studio. Also, we have Simba Gulet, who is a former deputy governor of Isiolo County, also a politician, speaking to us about a variety of issues. We'll be coming back and we'll be talking about what is happening right now in the High Court. And I'm asking you this question: is BBI a legal document? Is BBI a legal document? Talk to us on 111 444 111. That is on 111 444 111. Remember what just happened in the court of law, that is the High Court. They have said the BBI steering committee is an unconstitutional entity. We'll be talking about that in a short while when we come back. All right, welcome back to Tipping Point. My name is Frederick Muitiri. Now, the creation of 70 new constituencies as proposed in the BBI is in violation of the Article 89 on the delimitation of the boundaries. That is according to Justice Janet Mulwa, who is reading her judgment. Let us listen in.
Interpreting the Constitution under its authority donated by Article 165 of the Constitution is mandated to give relief to both actual violations of the Constitution as well as threatened violations. Our decisional law has consistently held that the correct reading of Articles 22, 165 sub-Article 3D, and 258 of the Constitution yield the conclusion that a party does not have to wait until a right or fundamental freedom has been violated, or for a violation of the fundamental freedom, or for a violation of the fundamental freedom, or for a violation of the Constitution to occur. Let me say that again. I'm sorry. I think there's a typo somewhere. That it says a party does not have to wait until a right or fundamental freedom has been violated, or for a violation of the Constitution to occur before approaching the court. He has a right to do so if there is a threat of violation or contravention of the Constitution. This was the holding in the case of Coalition for Reform and Democracy Code and two others versus Republic. We have also cited
that is Justice Janet Mulwa, who is reading her comments. Remember, this is a case that has been ongoing, and the outcome has been ongoing for the last 3 hours, and we'll be knowing the outcome of a case that was taken to High Court in matters to do with BBI. Earlier on, they said, and I quote, the BBI steering committee is an unconstitutional entity. What does that mean? And we'll be talking to our guest right now in studio, Simba Gulet, who is former deputy governor of Isiolo County. Also, we have John Mwaruma, who is a senator Taita Taveta. Simba, you have heard the ruling that is going on right now at the High Court. And they are saying the BBI steering committee is an unconstitutional entity. Where does that put the BBI and the whole process that has been propagated by this steering committee?
Yes, I think one of the issues also that the court had an issue with is not only the steering committee, but the initiators of the constitutional amendment process. Popular will is expected to be something to come from the grassroots and not really from above coming down.
The executive.
Not from the executive. Executive is not a popular will. Executive has its own role. If it wanted to initiate its own referendum, it was able to do that. But then they use now parliament and other institutions through the legislative process. And they eventually end up with the Mwananchi to agree with them through collection of signatures, following Article 255 of the Constitution. So I think that's where the court has a problem with. And again, it still comes back to the whole process. What is the end objective of the BBI process? Without fear of contradiction, I think if you asked most Kenyans today, to be honest, they will say it is a process that is being driven by two gentlemen. That's what most Kenyans say. And if you ask them the second question, what is BBI all about? They will say it's a creation of jobs for a few. That's what most Kenyans are saying today. When I ask them on the street and I talk to them, that's what I hear. So I think the court is in a way reflecting on the same, saying, fine, you have gone through all that process, but that's not through the process which Article 255 was intending. The Article 255 envisioned, amongst others, popular initiative to be driven through the grassroots.
Actually, the court also said a popular initiative is an initiative of the ordinary citizens. That is what the court has said.
Yes, that is the whole thing.
Let's hear what Speaker Kenneth Lusaka had to say about amending a popular initiative bill that comes from the people. This time, the court is saying it came from the executive.
I therefore rule, in respect to the specific questions asked, that an amendment may be made to the provisions of a bill to amend the Constitution by way of a popular initiative in the Senate. The Senate has the option of either passing or rejecting the bill in toto in accordance with Article 257(8) of the Constitution. Okay, honorable senators, these are the results. Abstentions 1, nays 12, ayes 52.
That is Senate Speaker Kenneth Lusaka yesterday when they were ruling on the BBI bill. And he said clearly that the Senate or the Parliament, they have no legal jurisdiction to change whatsoever content of a bill that emanates from a popular initiative. And Maruma, I know you were there, Senator Taita Taveta. Do you think that senators or members of Parliament should be given a chance to make amendments to a bill?
Thank you so much, Fred, for that question. The Constitution of Kenya 2010 contemplates 2 ways of amending it. The first way is the parliamentary route, and the second way is the popular initiative. Now, when we have a popular initiative, the process is well known that we will have promoters of the constitutional amendment proposal. The promoters will collect 1 million signatures. Then the promoters again will seek help to come up with a bill after IEBC has certified that all the signatures are valid. And this bill is taken to IEBC, and IEBC takes it to the county assemblies. Assuming all the assemblies are given opportunity to amend the bill, the 47 assemblies, which bill would be cascaded to Parliament, that is the Senate and the National Assembly. County assemblies also do public participation. They do public participation, but in this case, they did change. But assuming they changed, which bill would come to the Senate and the National Assembly? Assuming when it comes to the National Assembly and the Senate, assuming the Senate concurrently, assuming the Senate decides to change the bill and the National Assembly decides to alter the bill, then which bill would be taken to the president? Because after the bill goes through Parliament, it's supposed to be taken to the president. And because it is a popular initiative, that bill has to go to a referendum. So the president would take the bill to IEBC, and IEBC would take it through a referendum. There are 2 things that would make a bill go to a referendum. The first one is amendment of the Constitution through parliamentary process. Anybody can decide to take a bill to Parliament, and when that bill goes through Parliament, if Parliament decides, for example, it's a popular initiative, and they take it to Parliament, and Parliament decides to make the bill not go through, like what we're having now, although Parliament passed the bill. If they decide it should not go through, even if the changes that were being done were not the ones that were contemplated in 255, like, for example, the structure of governance, changing the working of Parliament, Bill of Rights. When you have all those, then that bill must go through the referendum. But even if you are changing something that must not go to the referendum, and that bill goes to Parliament, and Parliament can pass it and it goes to the president, it is accepted. But if they refuse not to pass it, like if we decided not to pass it,
allow me, Maruma, allow me to cut you short just a bit.
The bill through a referendum,
allow me to cut you short
so
just
I'm
a bit.
assuming now, if we decided to change the bill at the Parliament level, the Senate and the National Assembly, which bill would go to the referendum? So we're not supposed to change anything, and I agree with the ruling of Speaker Lusaka and the ruling of Speaker Muturi to make sure.
Oh, where have you gone to, Mwaruma? And this is what Senator Cherargei, we spoke to him yesterday, and this is what he had to say about the ruling that was made by Speaker Kenneth Lusaka.
It confirmed that Parliament is salutary in the process. Then why did we do public participation? Why did we debate if we can't make changes? And you know, when you look under the Constitution, our legislative power is not limited. Article 94, Article 104 of Constitution 2010, our legislative power as Parliament is not limited. And therefore, the decision and ruling that was made by Lusaka is very wrong in principle, in rule of law, in parliamentary powers and legislative power that we have, but is politically correct.
Let me come back to you, Simba. And Senator Maruma is raising an important issue. If a popular initiative comes from the people And then the MCAs from different counties, they go changing the bill. By the time it's coming to Parliament, by the time it's going to Senate, it will be very different.
True.
Should that happen?
What?
So, when you're saying true, are you agreeing with Senator Kenneth Lusaka?
No, I agree partly that you cannot have so many different amendments from different county assemblies. But where the problem lies is the hurried process. You remember our Constitution 2010, the current Constitution that we have, how long it took us to reach a consensus. You know, this is a consensus-based, legislative process. So, county assemblies are not just there for no reason. National Assembly and Senate are not there just for stamping. It's not
rubber stamping.
It's not a rubber stamping institution. So otherwise, then there will have been no need to take it through them. What is the point?
Or even public participation.
So, the logic will not be there. What I think where things went wrong is when they said between March and by June, we must have a referendum, come what may. So county assembly, you have no say. Just
give you a car grant?
Take it, a car grant, and then you move. What should have happened is give this thing an ample time. County assemblies should have had at least 2, 3, 4 months. So that when all these things are collected, the BBI Secretariat, their work should have been to consolidate all those views and make a common, the county assembly doesn't have to sit one time. They can sit several times.
True.
So you can go through a series of stages, start with the first reading, read it through all the county assemblies, take it to public participation, collect the views, return it back to the county assembly, so that by the time they do the third reading, we have a semblance of a uniform document, so that when it's taken to the National Assembly, it can be said now, truly, this reflects popular will. The document represents a popular will. But what has happened?
Yes.
What has happened?
Yes.
Is I have spoken to MCS who said they have not even seen the document.
Did they even read it?
They did not even see it, let alone read it. They said they have not seen it, so they just passed a document that they have not seen. So then that
what does that say of our leaders?
It says a lot about them, but it says a lot also about the top leadership of the country for having pushed this thing so hard with the intention of beating a deadline, which I honestly think should not even be the case. We should have just had this thing go through a natural process, because we want this thing for posterity. We don't want it for certain individuals. We want it to last another 20 years. So right now, some of the members of parliament, including Senator Orengo and others, raised very legitimate issues about even if we are to pass this document, what will happen? For example, Senator Orengo mentioned the issue about the constituencies.
The legality of it.
Not only the legality, he said even the practicality of implementing it. He said this is a kind of amendment that will have no end value effect. So if we have those kind of deficiencies in the process, why will you want to push it so hard? Why don't you just allow the natural process that we went through the making of the constitutional process, and then when everybody is satisfied and we have a common ground and a consensus like we used to have before.
The clamor for the new constitution.
The clamor for the new constitution 2010.
All the way from 1992.
Was a very inclusive process. But the BBI process, can you say it's inclusive?
Hold that thought. Now, Senator Mwaruma, let's come to a sad situation that we're being told that happened in the Senate. And this is what Senator Gerald Gay, when we spoke to him yesterday, had to say about bribery in the Senate.
See fear from some of our colleagues that they voted at gunpoint, others were blackmailed, others were arrested. And you remember even last week when we were having a debate on the BBI document on the floor of the House, the Constitutional Amendment Bill of 2020, Senator Mithika Linturi was arrested mid of the way, and he was told, and verbatim, that if you support BBI, we will not pursue you again. My colleagues in corridors of parliament saying that the allegations of being bribed over 100,000 shillings to support the BBI document.
And the colleague that you are seeing there with the Senator Gerald Gay is my producer of this show, that is Daniel Kariuki, together with Clifford Dumbi. Now, Senator, you've heard what Gerald Gay insinuated, that there was bribery in the Senate, and it's a sad situation because earlier today, Moses Kuria, the MP for Gatundu South, said that they were bribed with 100,000 to make sure that there are changes by in Parliament. Really, is this what happened? Did you see anything close to that, what Cheralga is saying?
Again, I'm saying that the propaganda that is being peddled by the Tangatanga Brigade is quite unfortunate. I have not had issues of bribery from the other side of the both houses, but that the Tangatanga Brigade. And I'm asking myself, okay, me, I've been away from Nairobi. I've been in Kakamega, meeting the Western governors because of with the Public Accounts Committee. So I was not in Bunge, but I think that is something casting aspersions on and imputing improper motives on parliamentarians is something that is very bad. It is something that I condemn with the strongest terms possible. I don't think that people are bribed, and people voted because they think BBI bill is good, it's benefiting their people. And if it is bribery, are you telling me that the Bahati MP, who is a Tangatanga, Nakuru, was bribed? Joro MP is a Tangatanga, was she bribed? And very many other people who are Tangatanga adherents, some from Kilifi, voted yes, because they believe that the contents of the BBI bill, amendment bill, are good. And so I don't know why Tangatanga wants to sell that propaganda. But Fred, if you want to kill a dog, you give it a bad name. From the ab initio, Tangatanga has been against BBI, and they're trying to give it a very bad name, to paint it bad, so that it can be voted. It can be voted out. But fortunately, because of the good things that are in the bill, it has passed through assemblies. It has come to Parliament. It has passed through Parliament, and there are very many good things in the BBI bill. Bill, I can do that like this without even referring anywhere. So saying that
Senator, because I'm being told my time will be up,
is unconstitutional.
Yes,
I don't think the steering committee, is unconstitutional because the Constitution of Kenya 2010 contemplates a situation where it will be amended, and so it has inbuilt mechanisms of amending it, and they are encapsulated in 255, 256, and 257. Now, if we say maybe the committee was appointed by the president or the government, who else was going to appoint it? I can imagine Wanjiku or Wakio or Achieng wants to change. This is the common people want to change the constitution. They can't even move. They can't even hire experts to write the bill. So the work of the government was facilitative, to facilitate a committee that would move around, collect views of people, collect the views together, and put them into a document that is called BBI document. So
Senator Maruma, because I'm being told I only have 2 minutes. Senator Maruma, because I have 2 minutes.
To do an amendment.
Allow me to ask you
this
last question.
And furthermore, Article 1 of the Constitution,
my director,
is very
clear
clear
Senator
that
is hearing
sovereign belongs to the people, and that power is just donated to the elected leaders. Now, the elected leaders are supposed to work with the Mwananchi to make sure that the wishes of Mwananchi are achieved. For example, like
hold still, Senator. Senator, I'll ask you this, and you please answer me in the next 30 seconds, because I'm being told my time is almost over. If was come to us and the court declares that the whole process is illegal, is unconstitutional, are you ready to go back to your people and start the process again? Do you think we have enough time for that? In 30 seconds, Senator.
Fred, we are not dying today. We are not dying today. First of all, we look at the ruling and the points of ruling. If at the High Court level, it's declared unconstitutional, we also have other, we have the Court of Appeal up to the Supreme Court, we can move that direction. It doesn't mean that we are working in a vacuum. We have a constitution, a running constitution, a living document, a progressive document that we want through BBI to make it better. So even if it is told, we are told that it is unconstitutional,
yes,
or whatever ruling we get, you can choose then the path to move, either to go to Court of Appeal or start the process afresh.
Thank you so very much.
One thing that I know,
yes,
is that, yes.
Thank you so very much, because my time is really over. John Maruma, Senator Taita Taveta, in like 1 minute, because he took a lot of time.
Yes.
Do you think, give me, my director, give me 2 more minutes. Do you think this process, if it's unconstitutional, we have enough time before the general election?
I think if the processes that we know normally courts go through is sometimes lengthy. It can take beyond, because you know the Constitution also says that for this Constitution to be changed and the changes therein to have an impact on the next election, because the hurry now is to have this to have an impact in the next election. That's the objective.
Naambiwa nitatolewa hewani.
Yes. Okay.
Many thanks.
No
Thank
problem.
you so very
No
much
problem.
for having time, Simba.
Thank you.
I appreciate. I'll make sure that you are called here
Thank you.
another time,
Feel
so
free.
that you can have, because this conversation must go on. That is Simba Gulet, former Deputy Governor Isiolo County. We had John Mwaruma, was Senator Taita Taveta. Many thanks for having this time. This was Tipping Point. My name is Frederick Muitereri. My sign language interpreters, Tracy Dorcas. We have Teresia Washira. And for myself, it's a good night. Asante sana.